Hello, this is OC Skywatch. It is the 20th of May 2015, and I'm just going to be making a shorter video showing you how aerosols were preventing us from getting our rainfall here in Southern California. I cut off quite a few maps because the long wave and short waves were not really giving the best quality. And yeah, speaking of which, if you can watch in full screen, that'd be great, just so I wouldn't have to pan and crop and all that. It just takes quite a bit of excess time to do that, and the quality would also degrade a bit. So yeah, if you could do that, please, that'd be nice. Okay, first of all, May 19th, 3:30 Zulu. You can kind of notice that there's a little bit of a notch here forming. Invisible, you kind of see that there's a little low pressure. Yeah, there's the same notch here. And, well, what do you see here? You see a bunch of nanoparticulate spraying in the atmosphere. You can see it nicely. Little lines. Okay, let's move on. Okay, May 19th, 8:30 Zulu. You can see that it's kind of dipping more to the south. This is during the nighttime, so just decided to involve a little long wave shot. But yeah, this thing wants to start forming up, but it's not going to do a whole lot. It's going to get sprayed into quite a bit as it heads towards our area. Okay, this is water vapor, kind of the same thing. I just look at all the spraying around here. See those little lines? Let me slow this down really quick. Little lines here as well. Kind of looks all wispy. You can kind of notice a little bit of a weird easterly flow coming from the North American continent. Just right here they spray quite a bit just to keep their weird flow going. See this low pressure right here? This thing could have brought us some rain, but it wasn't able to. Okay, May 19th, 17:30 Zulu, and quite obvious spraying in here. And this thing wants to bubble up, but it's not being allowed to. And also notice that they're spraying on the northern side of this little notch. You see it's kind of starting to curl up a bit. That's why they spray it, so it just sucks in and weakens the core, and no rain gets, or very little rain gets through. But yeah, look at the very obvious spraying off there. Okay, this is sunrise, and you see what I mean? I'm cutting out a lot of the unnecessary maps just to cut down on video time. But yeah, seriously, you can kind of see this thing trying to curl up. And there's aerosols here on the southern and northern side. So this thing's not allowed to bubble up and do anything. Sure, there's some little action here, but very minimal. Okay, 500 millibars relative humidity. Quite a bit of dry air in this sector, and right here is the low pressure. There's plenty of moisture up at 18,000 feet, so why wouldn't this thing be developing more? And why wouldn't it be bubbling up like crazy, man? The water's actually not too cold there. Okay, let me show you a little ocean map right now. Water temperature. Surprised this computer could run it. It's only running a NVIDIA GeForce GT 430. Okay, let's see. Projection O. Okay. Mode ocean. This is a pretty cool map, actually. Okay, there we go. You can kind of notice that the water in this area is around, see, 19.3 degrees Celsius, 66.8, 65.7. So yeah, this thing should be bubbling up pretty good. It's not being allowed to. That's all I wanted to show you here. Okay, 700 millibars, 10,000 feet. There's a little bit of moisture, moderate amount. Okay, moving on. May 19th, 21:30 Zulu. And yeah, you can kind of see the spraying continues here. This is the time where they were starting to spray off our coast pretty good. Notice the little streak here? Yeah, this thing wants to curl up still, but it's not being allowed to. Kind of funny movement in there. I don't know, but regardless, it kind of looks like this thing was not allowed to do anything. There's little two lines coming from this island going south towards Cabo again. See? But that's not the focus of this video, unfortunately. water vapor. You can see the really intense spraying here as well, and this low pressure, a little bit northwest of this thing, is just going to start changing direction soon. And meanwhile, we have the jet stream going up into Alaska. God, I don't want to even know how warm it is up there. But yeah, look at the spraying. Just one final look at that. Quite obvious, and they were going over the Central Valley, of course. Not a surprise at this point. You just don't want rain falling there. There's just a tiny amount of bubbling in the center where there's not a whole lot of aerosols, but yet it's very weak. Okay, May 19th, 23:30 Zulu. Pretty much the same deal. More sprays are starting to come over my area. Okay, zoom in. But yeah, look at that. It's wanting, Mother Nature still wants to bring us some rain. Well, even though this whole flow is engineered and they're spraying heavily into this band right over here, just to control it. They want to bring us a little bit of rain for the next few days, but hey, they're probably going to suppress that as well. That's why I'm planning on making a part 2 if they decide to shut it down. Look at the spraying up here, and look at the development wanting to take shape, but it's not being allowed to. Quite sad, actually. I actually have some images I want to show you at the end of this video, showing you some of the spraying and whatnot. They have some night photos visible. Okay, let's speed this up a bit. Pretty much the same deal. I like to give you multiple views just because you kind of see a little bit of a rotation here starting to take shape, but it's not doing anything really. It wants to spin up. Yeah, look at the aerosols above here. Kind of concerning that they're spraying above the Central Valley and near Bakersfield. It's not cool. And what's with this thing still pointing its antenna down here? That's just great. Okay, moving along. May 20th, 3 Zulu. This is water vapor. This low pressure right here is starting to take a southerly route, and meanwhile, jet stream's still going up here into Alaska. That's terrible. Pretty heavy spraying over my area occurring now. What a surprise. Still have this little brick wall here that they're creating just to bring this thing down. Kind of looks all engineered to me. And this kind of looks like an engineered high pressure here, because you can kind of see a notable clockwise flow, slight, but it's still there. Still, this very flow over the continent and heading over into the Pacific is very weird. It's supposed to be a west to east flow, not a east to west. You can notice like the really heavy spraying over the valley area. That's part of shutting down this thing. And look right into its front. That was starting to form. Very heavy spraying into that. Luckily I have some camera shots of it. Okay, 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. This is 0 Zulu. It's about as close as I can get. And yeah, you can kind of see that this area right here above our area is not very moist. It's only like around 50 or so percent humidity, 40 to 50% actually. Off our coast is drier than expected. Just a little bit to the west of it though, there's plenty of moisture, but yet there's not a whole lot of bubbling up occurring. Okay, 700 millibars, 10,000 feet. Kind of see just some moderate humidity in this core. Still, I don't know why it's not bubbling up with a sea surface temperature. The water's actually relatively warm, so don't know why, as this thing heads over warmer water, it wouldn't be developing more rapidly. It's being prevented from doing so. Okay, May 20th, 8 Zulu, and yeah, very, very heavy over my area. And this low pressure, it's still taking a southerly route. It's gonna follow the jet stream. But yeah, very, very heavy spraying, particularly around Central Valley and, well, my area in Orange County. They don't want it to rain here. Last night, man, it was pretty bad. And that's why I'm gonna have some images proving that they were spraying over our area, just in case you have any doubts. Not that you would doubt me, but still. Yeah, just look at the increasing spraying over the area in general. They really don't want it to rain here, at least at this hour. Okay, water vapor. I can kind of notice some really heavy spraying starting to take shape over Mexico, and it'll head into Texas and give them some pretty nasty stuff. Probably all the headaches and whatnot that we've been experiencing here for a while. But yeah, look at the heavy spraying over it. Okay, let's go faster. Just look at the rapid spraying over southeastern Arizona and Mexico and a little bit into New Mexico. They were having really good rains in Texas. I wish that we were getting some of that because our hillsides are still really brown, especially towards the outer city limits. But yeah, look at that heavy spraying into the low pressure. They always do this with fronts, just the heavy spraying, so it just minimizes rainfall and just migrates moisture towards the east. Kind of see spraying over towards the northern sector as well, near San Jose. That's just so it wraps around and weakens the core even more. This is May 20th, 11:30 Zulu. This low pressure is really starting to take a more southerly route. It's coming down. I'm probably going to make a part 2 of this just because, well, sometimes one part just doesn't cover everything. I don't want you guys to lose interest or anything, so that's why I'm trying to make these videos shorter. But yeah, look at the heavy spraying here and look at the east to west flow. This whole jet stream's controlled. I can kind of see some little bubbling in this low pressure that wants to spin up into a powerful thing. Unfortunately, though, it's a very small area and it was outside of the aerosol, so there's not going to be a whole lot of precipitation involved. My area did not get anything. I live around in this area with mouse pointers pointing. So yeah, at this hour we're getting sprayed pretty heavily. Okay, let's see. Just another shot. This is still during the nighttime. Let's speed this thing up a bit. Look at all the heavy aerosols being laying off our coast, and heavy aerosols. There's no rain in here, especially in this band. A little bubbling up towards the center, but that's not doing anything really. It's not going to bring any good precipitation to the general area. Relative humidity, 700 millibars. There's an increasing amount of moisture up here off the coast of Central California. That's 10,000 feet. Nothing too unusual there. The moisture here as well. 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. See, there's a really moist band of air above us now, but yet, why is there no bubbling up above my area? That's so weird. May 20th, 2030 Zulu. The area of very moist air has passed us up. The aerosols were starting to calm down and there was some development starting to take shape over Nevada. This is the location of the low pressure. It's heading towards the south. I already pointed that out. Yet there's more spraying off our coast to prevent any further development and keep their weird flow going. But yeah, doesn't this look weird, just the east to west flow? I assume it's probably just to bring this thing down with engineered high pressure and whatnot. Just so we get a little bit of rain out of this thing. Just to make the people here feel that everything's okay and it's all a psychological operation. By the way, I'm glad that Nestle had some rather angry people at their door in our local area about them stealing our water. I'm glad people are starting to take some sort of actions against them. I feel they could have done more, but hey, it's a good start to get the message out. Okay, there's more spraying over northern Mexico and it's just dragging on over Texas. But yeah, look at the really heavy spraying. Let's slow down just to give you a good look at it. See, look at that. Look how heavy it is. We were experiencing pretty much the same thing over our area when this band was coming in. And they were even spraying over this Isla Guadalupe harp transmitter. Isn't that funny? Let me tell you something. This thing should not be here. It should not exist. Alright, sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, this transmitter shouldn't be here. And there shouldn't be all these aerosols being laying at all. It's just killing our planet. Plain and simple. And you know the geoengineers, Ken Caldera and David Keith, they're all treating it like a proposal. Well, let me tell you something. This crap is already going on. And most media outlets downplay it and still treat it like a proposal. Like geoengineering is a bad idea. They're right, that is a bad idea, but they're not addressing that. It's going on. They should be held accountable. It's criminal. They need to do more research before just putting out a story like that. Oh, that's just me ranting. I'm sorry. Still, it just makes me so mad that they like to cover it up. Almost all the media's bought and paid for now. Okay, visible. You can see it's pretty clear over my area now. Yet there's some stuff being laid off the coast, and that's just to keep the flow going and quite possibly bring this thing down and cause us some sort of weather. I'll be keeping an eye on that throughout the course of a few days. See, there's still a little bubbling up, and there's the eastward flow, and then it's going into the Pacific. That's just weird. Yeah, you still notice some heavy spraying over northern Baja and all that. Let's show you a relative humidity map at 10,000 feet. There's plenty of moisture down here. Very dry over my area. Kind of seems like that. But at 18,000 feet, it was very moist over Nevada. And there should be more bubbling up than there currently is. There's some, but it's not as you would expect for that much humidity up there. And not to mention the daytime heating. Heating equals more convection. More convection equals more storms. It should be raining a lot more there. Okay, let's check at the local Doppler radar. Just doing really quick. Yeah, there's a little bit of bubbling up over Nevada and Northern California, but is that going to do anything for a drought in comparison to a regular storm we'd have? No. Seems very dry over California, southern sector of the state. Okay, let's get a quick recap on what happened, and let's restart the animation. Okay, first of all, yeah, this thing we get sprayed into, and then, yeah, man, it's just a mess. Okay, see low pressure right here. There's some sort of aerosol and some rain over some parts of California, but it wasn't a whole lot. This thing was trying to bubble up, but then it wasn't able to. This is May 18th, 12 Zulu, and man, it just turns into this weird flow here. It's very oddly shaped. It was bringing rain to Texas and creating a weird easterly flow over here off Northern California and Oregon. This thing right here started forming and starting to take a more southerly route. But yet you see the aerosol spraying and all this being engineered and orchestrated. This was heavy trails over our area. This was supposed to be a low pressure. See, it wasn't marked as one, and there's like pretty much no rain with it at all. It's kind of funny. Anyways, yeah, this map's a little bit old, but that's like the most recent one I can get. They do it in little 12-hour increments. Anyways, yeah, thank you for watching. I'll probably make a part 2 if this low pressure coming down is suppressed. Until then, see you. Okay, this is for you, Harp Report. Here's the strange radar anomaly we had. This was taken a few hours ago, by the way. Just zooming in really quick. Interesting stuff. I really don't know what it is, but I could assure you that there hasn't been any precipitation here for a good few days. Been getting hammered constantly with heavy spraying. I might as well show you the storm relative motion map as well. See what you can make out of it. I'm in northeast Orange County, by the way.